UConn goes into South Carolina and gives them an absolute beatdown, 87-58. By my math, that is a 29-point win. I haven't been this shocked since Susan Boyle on Britain's Got Talent could sing.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
Now, in this video, we are going to break it all down from the South Carolina side. Who needs a bit of blame pie? From the UConn side, who do we need to throw flowers at? I mean, let's be honest, we're throwing flowers at everybody on the UConn side. Before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. Now, let's start with the losing locker room, South Carolina. I guess what stunned me the most was I thought in the second half South Carolina would make some sort of run. And then when AZ Fudd hit the three-pointer in the third quarter, I think there were about 4 minutes left, putting UConn up 60-33, it was like, wow, this really is over. In the third quarter, it's like Shannon Sharp says, call in the National Guard. They need help.
Send the National Guard, please. They need emergency help.
And that's what it was. There was no comeback to be seen. I wonder if we could do a truth serum test now. UConn fans going in at halftime, did you feel confident? How confident were you? And you could really look at it two ways. At halftime, they pointed out that stat where Fudd and Beckers were 4 of 18, and the rest of the UConn team was 13 for 19. And it's like, ooh, what do you think? And of course, now it's clear because we know the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. But at the time, yeah, I'd love to give True Serum out, and that's what really surprises me, that South Carolina did not wind up making some sort of run. In the post-game press conference, Don Staley said something is clearly wrong when you get this sort of beatdown taking place. And was it fatigue from all the games they've played in their juggernaut schedule, or was it just one of those days? But to have two big beatings, first UCLA to do it to them on the road, but this one at home, unacceptable. I mean, the win streak, which is at 71, was never going to last forever. They were going to eventually lose, but to lose in this manner sets off alarm bells, and here we go, blame pie, and there's a lot of pie to go around. Kitts, 6 points on 3 of 8 shooting. Fagan, 4 points on 2 for 5 shooting. And both of them got 5 and 4 rebounds, respectively. Raven Johnson probably gets the biggest piece of blame pie, going for 0 points on 0 of 3 shooting. Tessa Johnson also came off the bench, and she went 0 for as well, 0 for 4. The only players that really showed up were basically Malaysia Fulwiley, who went for 11 points on 4 for 8 shooting, and Joyce Edwards, the freshman, went for 17 points on 7 of 10 shooting. And that's the problem. Their seniors are upperclassmen. Fagan, Raven Johnson, Pow Pow, and Bree Hall. They just didn't do much. You need more from your senior players. And if you're not getting that, then you need to get the other players more playing time, like Fulwiley and Joyce Edwards. And really, I'm talking about Fulwiley. Edwards played 29 minutes. She was the top minutes getter. But Fulwiley, it's that tension. South Carolina needs more scoring. And will Don Staley commit and say, you're my girl, ride or die. I need you on the floor because I need more explosiveness on offense. And it's all well to say Raven Johnson does the intangibles, and she does. They're great. If everybody else goes, they're fine. But if she's not on her game and they're taking bad shots, then they are in trouble, which has been proven by UCLA and now UConn. Based on South Carolina's schedule and wins, I don't see any way they lose the number 1 seed or being a number 1 seed in one of the regions. What do they have left? They have Arkansas, they're at Vandy, they're at Ole Miss, and then Kentucky. You would think they would win out. I'm not sure of the tie-breaking rules. I'm not sure if Texas wins out. If it's a tie, I think that's what it would be, versus South Carolina would win on aggregate because they beat them by more points. I don't think they'd do it that way. And overall, you know the deal. They'll reset and say, yeah, fatigue got us and we got done on our home court, and rebuild the mindset and say we've come together after that big loss and done it. But this is a bad loss to have late in the season. As in a lot of ways, you are who you are. Now let's go to UConn, the winning locker room. Now, I made the joke that I was shocked by this win like Susan Boyle, but in truth, I have been very careful not to write off UConn as dead after the losses to USC And then to Tennessee, I made that creepy video where I said, Gino's molding this team much like in Ghost. Gino and CD, very creepy. But anyway, that's what UConn usually does. They reshape it, and they tend to play their best basketball at the end of the year. And that's where I got the shock of my life last year when I thought for all money there was no way that UConn was beating USC in the Elite Eight to make the Final Four. I thought USC's guards were too big. Juju would have a game, and I imagined it would go the way it went when USC came to play UConn at UConn this year. But in that game versus USC in the Elite Eight, and in this game today, you could just see they were locked in, that they were ready to go, and it was all coming together. I mentioned in the previous video, after the loss to Tennessee, this would be almost like the final exam versus South Carolina. And the question was, would this be Val Kilmer in Top Secret, a terribly dated movie where he dreams that he falls asleep and misses, or he's late to his final and unprepared, and he's gonna fail?
Haven't you been to class?
No.
But it's the end of the semester.
No. No, I haven't studied. Oh no, I'm back in school. I can't believe I'm back in school. Thank God.
Or was it going to be Val Kilmer in Real Genius, where he aces the exam and leaves a little note for the teacher to let him know that he's aced the exam? That was the question, and of course we got the latter, as UConn crushed this test, and even the loss to Tennessee looks pretty good considering how close Tennessee went to LSU and Texas and South Carolina. So UConn is quite pleased with themselves, and because of that, we need to throw flowers. I think the first flower should go to Ashlyn Shade, as I've been killing her on this channel. Not really killing her, but I've always questioned her in the big games. And in this one, she really saved UConn's bacon in the first half and got them going. The other thing she did was just get timely offensive rebounds. So she got 4 rebounds, but they were big. It always seemed like they were a crucial regather to give UConn another shot. Caitlin Chen as well. I've often been a bit tough on her. She was solid. You got to give it to her. She went for 10 points on 4 for 9 shooting. She was 1 for 4 on threes. KK only went for 2 points on 1 of 3. KK got more minutes and was part of the lineup of Shade, Fudd, Beckers, and Strong that just crushed at the end of the first quarter and start of the second quarter. Like, that was plus 14, that lineup. But the other real unexpected was Jana El-Alfi, who she did a crossover early on. I think it was against Fagan. And it was like, what is this? And she just appeared to really grow up in this game.
All grows up. You know what? Shut up. Come on. No. Our little babies all grows up. You have to.
And gave UConn a solid presence in the middle so Gino could juggle between going big and then small. And then he was able to go big for a little bit when it appeared that South Carolina might make a run at the end of the second quarter. And it steadied things. When she was in there, it was plus 4. Then he went back to Strong and went small. And then once again, he went back to El-Alfi that was plus 5. And then, of course, let's go to the big 3. Paige Beckers was underwhelming, going 3 for 12 points. But still, she did the things she needed to do. And it's good to have 3 because Sarah Strong was Sarah Strong, going for 16 points on 6 of 10 shooting. She got 1 of 2 for 3-pointers, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. She does it all. And, you know, the matchup between her and Edwards played well, but Sarah Strong just has a different game just because she has the ability to take 3-point shots that stretches out everything. As well, to be that big and to be able to pick Raven's pocket is truly unbelievable, and she does that all the time. She just pokes the ball out, and then she is away. But lastly, of the big 3, of course, the most flowers are going to go to AZ Fudd. Of course, she had a brilliant game, going for 28 points on 11 of 22 shooting. She got 7 rebounds and 10 assists. Her first half was not good. She shot 2 for 10. She was 0 for 2 on 3-pointers. But the most impressive part was she just kept shooting. I talked in one of the videos I did about she needs to read the book, The Art of Not Giving an F, as she often gets in her own head and worried about making mistakes, and that did not happen. In the second half, she kept on shooting. She was smart. She worked her way to the basket to get more comfortable. She did that actually in the first half. And then she just kept on shooting. So in the second half, in the third quarter, she was 7 of 9, which included shooting 4 of 5 behind the arc. And then the third quarter, she went 2 for 3, which included 1 for 2 behind the three-point line. So she kept it together and she carried UConn home and helped drive this into a nice, comfortable victory where you feel like you've really stuck it to South Carolina. And I've got no doubt some are going to watch this video and say, hey, it's only one game. You're overhyping UConn. And they are right. Like, it is only one game. But the good thing for UConn is, and if you're a UConn fan, they have this now in their memory bank. They can go into a difficult, hostile environment and get the job done, because before that they did not have that. They didn't have that at Notre Dame. As well, the ongoing nagging questions about them competing with elite teams. They didn't beat USC. But now you would say that is all over, and it doesn't mean that they're going to win the championship. Like, I still say it's a clear, there are 8 teams that are really in the mix, and then others beyond that that could make it to the championship game. But the elite teams are UCLA, USC, Notre Dame, Texas, LSU, and South Carolina. And it's clear UConn on their day can beat any of those teams. As well, any of those teams on their day can beat UConn or any of the other Elite 8. It just depends on who plays the best. I mean, an interesting question for me is, would you rather be UCLA now as a fan or UConn? UCLA is unbelievable. They have Lauren Betts. They have it all. But at the same time, Corey Close has not made it out of an Elite 8. If you look at the brackets that came out today from the committee, they currently have UCLA slotted to play LSU. Well, LSU did okay on the road versus Texas, and they handled their big Old Acre without too many issues. I'd say it was the guards in that game that let LSU down. So if I'm UCLA, I would be nervous playing LSU, just PTSD alone from what happened last year. So where now for UConn? Well, the exciting thing for UConn and their fans is that Aubrey Griffin really did not play much in this game, as she just got 9 minutes. I think her time was impacted by Shade being on such a heater early on in this game. As I was wondering late in the first, early in the second, where is Griffin? Is she injured? Did I miss something? And then she came on and played fine, but she's like the ace in the deck, if you like, for UConn, as she has the ability to guard those really athletic type players, and she has the ability to be spectacular at times. So we haven't even really seen the best of UConn. The hope, if you're a UConn fan, is your kids really grew up today, El Alfie and Shade, and playing in big games, and they will just continue to get more together and get better and better to really set them up in a good place when the tournament comes around in March. And not only that, Becker still has not played her best, and last year that's when her game switched up to another level. So if you're a UConn fan, you should have a happy night and celebrate this victory. If you're South Carolina, it's not the end of the world. The sun will come up tomorrow, and you'll say it's fatigue, and you'll regroup, win the SEC tournament, and you're on your way as well. So yes, it is not March yet. The games that matter the most are in March, because once you lose, there's no tomorrow. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Have a great night. Your thoughts, your comments, your poison, it is all welcome. By the way, I'm sorry I did not have a preview video for this game, but the Back to Sports car, another Back to Sports car went down again. We got taken out on a roundabout, and I've been sorting that out all week. But I can assure you, if I would have done a preview video, it would have predicted that UConn would win by 29 points, and I would have told you to bet the college fund on it. Good night.